Life like a sitcom, playing Federal Star. Okay. Coming back for all my old Moeshas and Arnishas. Came in wearing all my pain. That's why I can tell a 6-minute story, no hook, no features. But just now, learning how to really incorporate the street stories when I'm rapping for them.
Time Wick Media, Highway Job, New Era Records. We here doing exclusive type of shit. It's been a while since y'all seen my face. This is the artist part of it all, baby.
So I'll give my crew a shout out, Inappropriality Crew. That's where I met your man right here.
#1 podcast in the 413.
Oh yeah, check us out. Inappropriality Podcast 413 everywhere. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. We're just revamping our marketing and everything, so we're gonna look nice and pretty. Just shout out my peoples over there. Shout out to the man right here. That's where I met him. Super excited to be here today. Basically, we're just going to get into the questions, really just get a rundown. We just did the man part. We got into the personal life. Right now, we're going to dig deep into the creativity this guy provides. I'm telling you, like I said, the work ethic's crazy. Like I've seen people bust their ass and still not put out as much as shit as you do, real shit. And that's the big difference, because a lot of people out here, you don't get people who are talented, consistent, and have that work ethic. To find one of those is rare enough, never mind all three. So, without spoiling what's to come, we'll get right to it.
Highway Job is an artist who uses music as a way to escape. I came up with the name Highway because I feel like when you're on the highway, that's the most longest place that you can have thoughts. So if you really think about it, you could just drive forever unless you get off the exit. So to me, when you get off the exit, that's the end of your thoughts. So I like to write music. I'm an introspective person. The job part came from my favorite rapper is Ja Rule. So growing up, everybody just started calling me Ja. So it was a way to pay homage to him. So the highway side is kind of the emo, personal. The Ja side is kind of, if you want to say, street or the harder side. When you put them together, it's just me being a creative artist. I started making music because my aunt, she passed away. My auntie Phyllis, she passed away in 2012 from cancer. So it was like one of those. I needed to figure out what to do with my anger and me being upset, because it's happened so fast. Like my parents told me in December. The doctors told her she was alright, but she kept doing breast checks herself and saw somebody else, and by that time it was too late, because with cancer there's no stage 5. So she passed away in June of 2012. So it was hard. It was hard. So it was like music just allowed me to be angry and just allowed me to just vent out, and then it became one song became a couple of songs. Couple of songs started to become a challenge of, can I make a whole project? Then that became fun, and how long can you keep doing it type of thing. So I definitely got to shout out my guys, LV, Chi, Davi, King Kobe, and my man just Stacks, Brucey B, man. They definitely gave me the outlook and B.O.B. and then from there I met Trap. So it's amazing how one small thing could turn into a bigger situation.
Real shit, bro. That's how I feel about buying this camera and shit. That's how we met. Like, we would have never crossed paths per se.
Yeah, because the podcast has definitely opened doors. It let me meet some new people. You and McWay, Mike, and Matt. It was a blessing, and Dame I already knew from football. So it was another, again, a small opportunity turned into being able to be on the podcast, #1 podcast. And I just feel like it's a natural feel to be there when with you guys. It's just home. It's just regular, just guys just chilling, and the camera just so happened to be on.
Real shit.
Favorite musicians, Ja Rule, Tupac. As a kid, I was really heavily influenced with Tupac through my uncle. I know I was only 8, but it's amazing how much music can touch you. I think one of the songs that touched me the most was Dear Mama. Me being a mama's boy, it was like man, somebody who was really showing their true emotions, and it was okay for a man to cry and say that. It touched me. So definitely Joe Budden. I made a cold Tears series, and it was like my way to pay homage to Joe Budden with Ordinary Love series that he was doing. So when I met him and I told him about that, he was impressed.
Oh,
so
shit.
it was a blessing to meet him. I met Ja Rule 3 times. I spoke to him too. Surf is another guy that I love. Currency, Ace Hood. I really love Ace Hood because he's underrated. He's a motivational black. Seeing him as a black guy who's taking care of his family and doing the music, working out, and just so positive. And I love to be around shit like that. Yeah.
That's funny. I love Ace Hood's music because I love bangers.
Yeah.
He doesn't write.
Always has one. Yeah.
I would have never guessed he had that other side to him too. So that just shows you more too the theme of what we're talking about today, like the man and the artist. Like you know, sometimes they're combined. Sometimes it's always combined.
Yeah.
But there's just two sides to each coin. So
of course, I love Rick Ross. I love his cinematic beats, his luxury beats. And that's why I think about me. I think I'm a cinematic artist because I see music more than I hear it. So it's like I'm a visual writer.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and of course I love Drake. I love Drake when he melodies and Tory Lanez, of course Chris Brown, and some of the even old school guys like Bobby Brown and Alexander O'Neal, like Being a Gun Kid, SWV. My mom used to play that in the house, and
nothing like
yes. Temptations, David Ruffin, that's why I like to sample music as well, and this is my way of paying. I'm big on paying homage. I don't feel ashamed to pay homage to different musicians and even local artists. I don't feel ashamed to do that because I feel like these people is somebody that I looked at. These are people that I looked at and they kind of set the footprints. So. I think with 6ix9ine situation, I guess it's more so if you want to be in that life, you gotta take everything that comes with it. So to me, he's not like a regular civilian, like an old lady who's getting robbed and gets called on the cops. This is somebody who's throwing up bloods in the video and all that type of things, and it's like you got caught up in it. And now, even if he, ends up being free, now you gotta look over your shoulder every day. It might not necessarily be somebody that's family that you snitched on. It could be just somebody who knows somebody who wants to make a name for themselves and get paid. It's sort of like me, my big brother. He's down with Bristol. These are friends that I've known before they may have even have known him or grew up with him. Just because I'm with them, they all know. They call me the good brother. So it's like they know what I'm trying to do is put feed my family, and they never put me in no situation. But if things ever got to that point, I know they got my back. You know what I'm saying? So when I wear the B hat and everything like that, it's me. And even when I think about the hood, I consider it to be holding our own down. That's how I think about the hood. It's just it's just a group of people who are looking out for each other, and that's how it is. Everybody has their own perspective about what it is, but like I said, it speaks again about loyalty. I'm comfortable being with them, and that's just what it is. I don't really care about what nobody says. So.
Right. I can relate as far as just being a white boy from Springfield. Like, I grew up in a nice neighborhood. I walked down the mile to Orange and Oakland, and I have some best friends out there, and who have gone to jail, still in jail for life, like everything in between. And so
I would definitely have to say my first one. I think my first project is always gonna be the one that you're gonna love and hate. Love it because it's the first one you ever do. Hate it because as you grow, you're gonna hear all the things that you thought was hot that wasn't.
You learn so much.
Yeah. I would say my first album, which was a double album. I never seen anybody do a double album, so it was actually 2 discs, and that was my way of paying homage to Tupac and be different from everybody else who was making music.
And what year was this?
That was 2013.
So you started in 2012 and you put a double album out the next year. That's insane.
So that's 2. I would say. Movie Heroes 2 and 3. Todd Smith, Eddie Kane, and it was one side was more like R&B-ish, like to pay homage to LL. Then the other side was Eddie Kane. It was like more old school samples and things like that. So that's 3. My project with LV, one of my boys and one rappers from 413, LV Mac. We did one called V on the Highway, and we dropped that 2015 in October. And the reason why that one's special to me is because when you talked about egos, we had to put our egos aside to make a great project. There was things that I could do good that he couldn't. There was things that he could do good and I couldn't. But we figured out a way to bring out the best in each other. And I haven't seen a lot of people do a collective project, a whole collective project together. So that one was special to me. And then I would have to say, my Puff Daddy project that I came out with 2 years ago, and that was because it made me be creative. I felt like I was Puff Daddy when I was making that project, as far as the samples, what I was talking about, how I structured it. And it was the first time that I worked with somebody who wasn't from here. Her name is Brianna. And we came up with a song called Ja Rule, Black Sheep. And it was produced by a platinum producer who works with Wale and Kevin Gates, named Dream Life. And I brought the beat for him. I went to my uncle's DJ KLS at 90.7, so I brought the record up there, did an interview. And a lot of people from St. Louis were hitting him up, letting them know that they liked the song. I sent it to her first to see how she liked it. And it was basically just, just talking about, a black sheep is basically someone who's not respected or is viewed as an outcast. And that's why I feel like with Ja Rule now, with the 50 Cent thing, it's like, it's so quick to, put him down. But when you really think about it, he's done a lot of things that people have copied after time. So when that song came out, that was my first official single. So after all this time of making music, so I would have to say those are my 5. And I got to perform for the first time at my sister's Sweet 16. And I was nervous as fuck. But it was like just to be able to break that mold with my family felt good too. My kids was there, my wife was there, it just felt good.
It's good that you got that icebreaker.
Yeah.
I think you did like a Child of the Ghetto freestyle.
Oh yeah,
that was on the Puff Daddy?
that was recently on the I wanted to pay homage to Bad Boy and Death Row because I grew up in that era. So I did the Puff Daddy project first, and then I did the Death Row. That was my last project I just released in February of this year, and I called it Death Row Days, and it was another way to pay homage to Tupac and Death Row, and it was just a whole bunch of freestyles, and that's what that one was.
Yeah, that's my shit.
And and the fact that you say that is another thing that I say as an artist is important to me for somebody to listen. It's not so much about you want everybody to say everything is hot. I want people to listen. So when people tell me, or oh, I didn't like this song, I like that more than people saying they like it, because it gives me something to drive off of to say, okay, you don't like this, okay, you like that. And a lot of females listen to my music, so they'll tell me when I first started rapping, oh, you rapping a little bit too fast, I like this, I don't like that. And it was like, okay, because Tupac always said, what the women like is what the guys will gravitate to. So it's like, I definitely, that's all I ever asked was for people to listen, because it's free. It's not, just take your time just to listen. Say you like somebody's music. I mean, Joe Budden said that, you can compliment somebody and respect somebody and know you still get busy too. You know what I mean? It's the same thing with Kobe. Kobe always thought he was better than Mike. But that was his way of paying homage, but knowing that he get busy too. So. It depends on how I'm feeling. So today, if I'm going through a real life situation, I may feel like I may need to write. I always write most of the time, before I even hear the beat. Because that way I'm not feeling like I'm boxed in. So I'll write down all my thoughts. And I have a habit of waking up at like 2, 3 in the morning, and I'll just start writing, even if it's a line or two. And then later on I'll finish it. I'll critique it myself, then find a beat that fits it, and then I'll start chopping down the lyrics and things like that to make it fit the song, and go over it over again, and then go to the studio, go to trap and have it done, because I don't smoke or drink. So when I go to the studio, if I book a 4-hour session or a 5-hour session, I can get a lot done in that time, because it's just me. And I'm just going. And I know what particular time in the song I want this to come on when I do my movies, skits and things like that. So, and I like luxury type of feeling type of beats. So again, I'm a visual person, so when I'm writing it as if I'm trying to paint you a picture. And I guess that's why I always never consider myself a rapper. I consider myself an artist because I'm trying to paint a picture. Even if it's not something that you can relate, because you can tell me a story about you. I went to the store today and they didn't have an outfit that I like. I can take your story and make it sound like it's my own because I'm listening to you and visualizing you going to the store and then not having that. So now, of course, you got to make a plot like a story. Because there's going to be people around. What was your thoughts at that time? So that's what I think that I bring to the table as far as being creative. And when I'm doing a project, I need to make sure that I touch and hit something for everybody. If I make a whole CD and you like one song, that's good enough for me because I've done something. So that means that I've kept something. That means I can get it later. As far as Tupac and Ja Rule, again, it was just one of those things where it was the passion that they bring. And you know, I know it's not a popular thing to like Ja Rule, but I'm a loyalist, so I always loved Ja Rule from the beginning, even during the hard times. But it's just something about the way they write and the way that they talk about their personal self. It made me feel, even with Joe Buttons, it made me feel like they were talking to me. So I tried to emulate that and do the same thing to my audience. Like if I'm talking to them, if somebody else is struggling, maybe my struggle is their struggle, but they may not know how to say it. And that's where you get ghostwriters from. Because they're writing it, you're telling me your story, so now I paint this picture and write it, and it's similar to what you're saying, but you don't know how to write. So that's why when they talk about ghostwriting, and I've learned as an artist, it's behind the scenes people who matter. Like Neo. Before we heard Neo, he was writing for other people. The Dream, we don't see him visually, but he's writing for Rihanna and people like that. You get what I'm saying? So, so that's always been my passion about never being afraid to speak your mind and speak how you feel. Even when Joe Budden was going through things with his son, I could relate to that because I was going through things with my son. So that's what made me not be afraid to talk about it, because him talking about it made it easier for me to talk about it, or I'm not alone. And I feel like that's why people commit suicide, because they feel alone. They feel like they're the only person in the world who's ever going through this. So through music, you are able to relate to some and draw to somebody. And I always listen to each of my projects, the last one before I make a new one, because I want to do something different. So if I made a whole kind of girly type of CD or something that's more R&B is cool, I need to make something for the hood. Why? Because I need you to know that I'm not just this type of rapper. Again, it goes back to art. I'm creating different arts. I'm creating different scenes in the movie. Every movie that Denzel has been in hasn't been Training Day. He's done The Preacher's Wife. He's Gangster. Done American Gangster. These are all different. That's how I view music. Is every single CD you've got something different.
That's dope. You know? That's dope.
And I like to. And if people listen, which I hope that they do, I like to update them on things that happen. Like in Power, we watch it every week. Every week it's a progression. Last week, maybe Tariq did something dumb. This week he may have did something good. They're updating you on it.
So that's what's up. So you just keep the story going.
And then when I first thought I should drop every 3 months, because I never wanted people to forget about me with me being new. But then I heard people say I was coming out too much and I wasn't giving them time to listen. But now it's a popular thing now. CD may come out today, tomorrow they're already on to somebody new.
That's crazy.
So it seemed like I was already ahead, and I learned that from just paying attention to the music.
So consistency and
that's why it's so easy. I can just go in the studio 8 hours and make a whole CD because I write every day.
That's crazy.
I feel like everybody should have advice. Some people's vice is going to the bar. My vice is writing. I don't care if it's a journal and reading and those things. I need somewhere, and some people go to therapists. So I consider music to be therapy for me. So I'm not afraid to, again, as Tupac would say, shed my skin and go look in the mirror and find my soul. It's easy for me because it's there. So when he said it was kind of weird, but it's like, it's there. I'm looking at myself and I'm comfortable enough to talk about myself. I'm not ashamed, and they always say, speak your wrongs and your truth so that nobody can use it against you. So nobody can ever say anything about me because I tell you the good and the bad. I may tell you the bad more to let you know that I'm human.
As an introvert, I could definitely understand that. I mean, I'm definitely social, but as far as like sometimes it's just great to put the ugly out there real quick because then from there shit's smooth.
I'm only doing this because this is my guy. I haven't said a title or nothing yet. So my new project is called, it's my 21st project, it's called The Black Sheep. And again, the reason why I named it that was because as someone who makes so much music, I still feel like I'm overlooked. I still feel like I'm not given the respect or the love I feel like I deserve as someone who's working hard, because they always say that people who work hard work pays off. So, but I also have to be honest with myself too. What have I really applied myself? I never performed outside of my sister's Sweet 16 because I'll be honest, I always been stage fright. I could talk in front of an audience because I've taken public speaking classes. I'm a coach. I'm a dad. I'm on my kids' council at school. So none of that doesn't fear me or scare me.
I got you.
But performing sometimes does. Just that one time, because I was nervous when I started, but once I got into it, it was fun. I could see. So when I look at my peers like, Macway and Saint and Quality who perform, and T-Swan and these guys, Blacksmith and, the whole Making Moves, when I see these guys and King Cody perform, it's like, man, like, I feel like I'm performing. I'm living through them, so with no shame, so yeah, my new project, Black Sheep, should be out next month. I'm just waiting on Trap to hurry up and fucking mix that shit. But yeah, so it's already done. It's been done since the beginning of September. There's 6 tracks and 2 bonuses on there, a couple of freestyles, and 3 originals on there. And it was just to get ready, just to give y'all something, because I haven't released anything since February, and that's why I didn't want to do something different to interview. Get my face back out there.
Keep that momentum going, definitely.
Yeah, no features, it's all me, just me. And I feel like that's important too, not to rely heavily on features. And I feel like when I get ready to do something big, I like to work on myself first. So being able to show that I can stand on my own. I know all these big artists in the field, but I like to make sure that they know that I can hold my own.
That's a good point.
I'm gonna show my man Tom the cover so y'all know I ain't capping.
Yeah, damn.
So that's the cover.
Oh my god, that's ill as fuck.
Woo! That's the best.
Damn. Who took these photos, bro?
So my sister took it on her phone, and I just put up the artwork. I just designed it myself.
Yeah, that shit's fire. The album covers heat right there. That's
and if you. And me naming it Black Sheep, it makes sense of why it is the way it is. And again, about the mirror, being able to look at myself is why I chose those covers to be like that. Damn. And I love artwork, so that's why I take my time with artwork. And each song and the artwork should fit what I'm trying to describe in the music.
I can definitely tell just by your explanation, you really break shit down and make sure to approach the details right, whether it's the music itself or the artwork, because a lot of people obviously insight, you need it growing as an artist, but a lot of people just learn from the track, okay, cool, and then keep it moving. They might keep that in mind, that's cool, that's normal, but you can tell that you really put the time in to be like, okay, I'm going to improve this, I'm going to have a comprehensive story to tell, this, that, and the third. It's just something that a lot of people don't pay enough attention to the details. And it's just like an outfit, you could have this dope ass outfit right now, but you have a stain right here and it looks like shit.
Right.
You need that. You need the details clean. Obviously you already know about that, but it's nice to be able to look from afar and be like, yo, that looks dope, and then to really look up close and be like, okay, this is really about it.
And the best part about making music is what we're doing right now. The conversation. That's what I want. So I may do something off to the left to make you ask me so we can have a conversation. Because a lot of the time be like, oh, that's corny. But did you ask him what was he thinking? Because a lot of times if you look at the culture change, black people are dressing kind of like skaters, and skaters are dressing more like hip hop as far as the tight jeans. But when you say, "Oh, why is he wearing that?" But that's the fashion. You get what I'm saying? So instead of saying, "Oh, that's gay," or "That's corny," this and that, have a conversation. I feel like the conversation is lost in art because people just throw out music and it's quick, catchy hook, and that's it. But it's like, did you actually take the time to see when I used to get CDs, the first thing I used to do was go open the booklet and look at the sample. Who did they sample from the old school? Go on YouTube, or we had YouTube back then, but go ask my parents, like, who is this artist? And I would go look it up on the computer and see how it was.
Tupac, Do for Love, like one of my favorite all-time songs, period. Just a nice example that popped into my head with that shit.
I only picked 8 on here. Like I said, 6 regular, and I picked 2 bonuses on there. I wanted to keep it short because I know a lot of times with the attention span. I know one of the regrets I had when I made my first album was I used to pick so much songs, and it was to give you a full body of work. Because when I hear my favorite artists, if they only have like 7 songs, like, damn, I want more.
Right.
Now I gotta wait 2 years because you gotta tour. So it's like, as an artist, I tried to do everything that I wanted from my artists to give to people who listen to my music. So I'd rather give you too much than not enough.
Right.
So I felt like for this particular mood, 8 was good enough.
Yeah. And that's like sales, bro. Like, there's a few things you said. Like, you have an array of things, let's say music tracks or a product or something, and you show people and they're like, well, I like that, I like that, I like that. But you got a small selection, you're just narrowing your chances, you know, it's expanding. And then on top of that, you know, there's going to be a lot of no's too. You'll get it. And that's why I'm like super happy you're a hard worker too, because like the no's are going to happen, you get those, whatever, but it's all about persistence and belief, and you already have the belief and you already have the work ethic. You know, a million people can tell you no, it's just like you're going to be doing what you want to do with your life anyways. So,
if I get one listener, to me that's a million.
Yep.
Because I basically made myself as far as the artist. A lot of people know me as the person. But as far as the artist, I had to make myself become who I am. So just to be able to see that. So if I have a handful of loyal listeners, that's good. I'm going to go hard like if it's a million people.
Real shit, bro. That's
Macway, who's on the podcast. Saint, who's been on the podcast. KJ, who I've known from school, my cousin Quality, T Swan, the whole Making Moves, Blacksmith, Fabian, even listen to some old Young Stealth, still listen to Cheeks, Blaze G, Lamel.
Pyrex.
Oh, yep, Pyrex.
What's his name, the dude that passed away?
Oh.
Beast Mode. He was like the OG of the crew.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm a black dude.
Yeah.
Anyways, rest in peace, respect.
Yeah.
He was a spitter.
Lamel, who I met through the podcast.
Right, same. Shout out Lamel.
Yeah, you always answering your DMs and things like that. Who else? There's so many artists, talented artists, and I feel and I love Tox, another one who I've known for a while. Crucial, even Justin Extraordinaire from Holyoke. So it's a lot of artists in our city who are very talented, and I always love listening to and love watching, and unashamedly I learn from them too.
Right. I always think about, I did my little stay in Jersey and New York and shit, and I always think about these artists being in that kind of environment where it's people will actually help you grow. Mm-hmm. Mind you, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, there's events in the city, this and that. And I always think about, we definitely have the talent out here to do that, and we do have those handful of people that have the talent and the work ethic to do that too, which is super rare. Period. So I always think about that, and then that always leads to the question, why aren't people out here making it? And that's a whole nother conversation too. But I think a big part of it is just what we were saying, showing that love, rallying for people. And if that's not you, if you're swallow your pride, show that love. It's again you see the little kids do it to each other, and somewhere between then and now, pride and ego set in, and people don't want to do that. But at the end of the day, you really gotta just put that shit to the side, like you were saying, and just be you, be the right you.
And showing love to other people again doesn't mean it helps you because now you're exchanging audience, and even with the females like LaShawn, she has a beautiful voice. Like it's just a lot of people. King Kobe, like he's I call him my teammate. You know, my guys LV Mag, Davi, Chichi, and Kobe. Like these are people who are already established as far as like, you know, performing. Like my man King Kobe just performed at Sony Hall in New York. Like yeah, like you know what I'm saying. Like just those type of, you know, it's crazy.
It's pretty dope, bro. I mean, I have faith somebody out here is gonna do it eventually, and I think that will open up a lot of opportunities. It's just like a random spot, and we're Springfield, Mass. That doesn't have much clout as far as like, oh, I'm from Springfield. People just hear that and they think, oh,
when they think Massachusetts, they think Boston automatic.
Real shit. And like what they think is like, okay, Boston, but not Boston. So it's like, oh, you're from Boston area, but you're not even Boston and shit. I mean, that might be my own take. But I know when I moved out to Boston, like, I had a whole different amount of love from people just because of that. It was pretty superficial, actually. But I guess that's the game. But something will change, and I don't know everything, but something will shed some light on why people are making it, and I think that'll be when somebody, like, actually cracks in there and stuff. And who knows if that'll be even be music. I mean, I'd love to, hopefully. You know, you see some genres of people out here in Western Mass get there. Mostly like pop singers or something, but something's gonna happen somewhere. And I've heard people getting some looks out here at least once in a while.
And the look is good, man.
Yeah, and we got Joyner.
Trapper camera too, man.
Joyner's from Worcester is just like a little bit bigger Springfield, so he's definitely been someone that I know personally. Like I said, I haven't really been on the super serious artist wave lately, but definitely has given some hope to somebody out there to be like, hey, look, you're from here. If you're good enough, you put the work in, take it serious, despite what your environment says or facilitates, you know, you can make that shit happen. It's not easy, but
even with 4TS's artist Cash Nate, like he was opening up for Rough Riders.
Right,
like that's big, that's major. That's like, you know, I just feel like we do a bad job in Springfield promoting. That's not even just the music, basketball. We're the birthplace of basketball. And I found out who goes to the Hall of Fame watching TV. That's crazy. And I'm right down the street. We don't have no billboards, nothing. Like, it's terrible.
Yo, and there's a lot of people that said like they didn't know shit about the Hall of Fame, what they were doing.
Even boxing, my guy D Wick, like he's the #1 boxer out here, and he finally got to me a big stage on the MGM. Like that was cool, but to me, he should be on TV.
Right.
You know, he's one of our own. I always said the Celtics should have to play like 20 games here, but they skip us to go play in Hartford. Like it's like crazy. I hear you rap. And he's nice, no cap. We've had freestyles outside. I don't even freestyle. Like I'm a better writer, and him and Mac was going at it. And I was just watching.
We'll get into that at some point.
So when I watch people, like one of my favorite underrated ones too is Fred the Godson and Lloyd Banks. Like as far as punchlines, I'll listen to them and I'll hear one word and it'll make me wanna switch a little bit and get a little witty with the words. You know what I mean?
Yo, Fred the Godson is he was over my head for a couple of years, real talk. I first heard him, I was like, yo, this dude's garbage, blah, blah, blah. And then I started listening, and, like, nobody has wordplay like he does.
Yeah, he is.
Right, that's what's over people's heads. And then I was like, oh, now I'm getting why this dude started to get some buzz before. But he's a super sleeper, so check him out. And he has some super bangers, too. I always love that shit. But I haven't heard him much from him.
He got a new joint coming out, so he just actually rapped over the he did a So Brooklyn Challenge, but he's coming out with a new mixtape. He's working with Heatmakers right now.
Oh shit! Damn, that sounds interesting. Well, we'll stay tuned with that. I'll have to follow him on IG just to keep up and shit. But that'll be dope.
Podcast came about from Dame. I played football with him. He asked me if I wanted to be a guest. But Fabian came on that day and got his ditty on and stole my shine. Now, shout out to Fabian, though. And that's another thing about not hating and paying homage and understanding. You know, he was a bigger guest at that time. It was a good look for both sides. So, you know, eventually I got on, went from, as you say, moved up the chain, went from the stat guy to, you know, being on the front line. So I definitely appreciate everybody on the podcast. Tom, Matt, Mike, Mac, and Dame, you know, it feels like family, you know, and just work got in the way. That's the only reason why you see me on. But they always let me know I'm always welcome. And as you can see, #1 podcast in the 413.
Still keep it going.
So,
we respect that. We respect these little vibes too.
Shout out to Blue Room Studios. I want to shout out Dot Vision too. He's been helping me on this Black Sheep project too, recording over there with Jalen and them. So definitely want to make sure he's another OG who's been schooling me and letting me, you know, ask questions and just giving me honest answers too. I value people who, you know, who just have a conversation. I'm asking because I don't know.
Right.
I'm not afraid to ask. You know?
Right. It's nice when you have people that can save you some time.
Right.
And without speaking a whole bunch of ego in there. So a lot of people are like, it's cool, we know stuff, we want to tell people about it, we want to be important. I get that, we all do in some way. But it can be a big waste of time just to hear people like flex. It's like, you know what, dude?
Yeah.
We're creating right now, there's no time for that. We're all about the business right now. So it's nice that you can, to come across somebody who doesn't really deal with all that fluff and shit. It's rare too, because rapping is like typically big ego.
And it's funny you say that because the last song on my project is called Gatekeepers. And I can't wait till everybody hear that. And, you know, it's just basically exactly what it is. You know, people have a lot of knowledge but don't want to share. And if somebody's asking you directly to school me, ask me. Like, you know, I would like to be taught.
Right.
I'm asking for a reason. And I feel like people always tell you to, you know, support them or come look at me. And it's like, cool, I'll do that. But now I'm just asking. It's not like I'm doing it to ask for something, but I do genuinely want to know, and you're the source who can teach me. So you're a better person to know from you. So.
Well said, real shit. That happens a lot in this game, but at least you're like kind of you've asserted yourself in a certain lane that people kind of know your game, if you will, because you definitely are much different than the average rapper that walks into the room, or an average artist, because. I don't know. Maybe it's just the vibe I feel.
I just feel like it's because I'm honest. I have deficiencies. Like I can't freestyle as good as somebody else, but I can write. Yeah. I can't. I don't know everything, but I'm just confident enough to know that what I can do. So what I can do is I'm creative and I'm consistent. So I let that speak for me. But I'm not afraid to tell you that, you know, that's just something that I'm not good at.
Right.
Highway Instagram. I don't have Facebook anymore. Instagram Highway Ja 413, and that's Ja JA, not JAH. My Twitter is Highway Ja as well. And my SoundCloud is Highway Ja Gray, GRAY. My album is 65% done.
Alright, yeah.
So
correction, just to clear, we were talking about the mixtape before. Yeah. That's the kind of the build up to the album. The album is in the mix.
Yeah, so 65% done. I've been working on that at the same time. Yeah. I started in March.
Oh, shit.
I have a lot of features on there, and I wanted to extend myself and do something that I usually don't do, which is, you know, work with people in the sense of waiting patiently, because I be ready, but I say, you know what, other people respect their time as well. They have things that they're doing too. So I wanted to work with some people like you. Right. We're waiting for that song, you know, what we're doing, because everybody's, you know, schedule didn't conflict, but it was a thing where no, I'm gonna wait because I see something that's good, and this is what I want. This is gonna be my best project, my first project ever with original beats. And the name of it is called Don't Let Me Die. And the reason why I called it that is, again, another exclusive. You're hearing it all here tonight.
Shit.
Don't Let Me Die is, and I'm calling Don't Let Me Die soundtrack. I was going to call it the vinyl, but I changed it to a soundtrack because one of my favorite soundtracks is from the movie Risky Business. I know I wasn't born in '83 with Tom Cruise, but it's one of my favorite soundtracks. The Tangerine Dream is the name of the musicians who made that soundtrack. So this album has got a lot of soulful feeling to it. I got a couple of trap records, a couple of hood, but it's really just a feeling. Like I went in there and I made the best me that I could make. And out of all of my 20 projects, this is what it was to make the perfect album.
Gotcha.
So that's why I called it Don't Let Me Die, and it was because I always say when people pass away, it's like you mourn them and then you forget about them. I don't want that to happen to me personally. I want it to be a thing where, even though I passed away, it's up to everybody else for it. You know, like Pac, he passed away, but his music, it won't let him die.
Right.
And I want it to be the same way in music and in life. That's why I try to have as much influence on people as much as possible. And, you know, even my guy Steve, R.I.P. tomorrow, be a whole year since he died, but every day I try to represent him and, you know, JD and things like that. So, you know, death is something that I don't deal with good at all. So it's like, I try to live my life as if it was the last. You know, that's why I put so much information in the song. So I said this one time in one of my songs. I said, I told wifey, don't pay a reverend to tell lies. Play my deepest music at my funeral. And it was basically, you play my music, you know exactly how I felt. I told you my whole life story. So I don't need you to pay a reverend to lie, because a lot of times at reverends or at funerals, they don't even know the person. They were paid to tell the story. I don't need you. Just push play. I told you everything about every move that I was dealing with, from my son's mom to my father to my mother to me, just me personal, sports, good times, bad times. All you had to do is push play. You could hear my whole life. So it was like, that's why I named it Don't Let Me Die. You don't have to. It's right here. Figure out a way to pick something good about me. We all want to be remembered. So I don't want to make music forever out. Maybe I just, you know, want to help other people make music, and I want to do something else. Just want to move on. And if this is my last project, I'm comfortable because I put everything into it. You know what I mean? So it's like, it took 20. That'll be my 22nd. It took 22 projects to be able to find that one, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's probably, I got a lot of surprises, a lot of things, a lot of beats, a lot of concepts. This is my best work. I'm so excited about it, and you know, I definitely want you to go support Black Sheep when it comes out next month. But my album is like, everything's gonna be different. Videos, performing, everything. You know, and you know, I'm in love with this album. Like I said, it's 65% done. I've worked hard. I've been my biggest critic on it, and I cannot wait for everybody to hear it.
This is it. This is pretty much it. I can understand that, because you put the work in, and you envision, like, this is, I don't want to say lifestyle, but almost lifestyle of a musician, as far as like the performing, the recording, promoting, this, that, and the third, and it's like, you know, this project's finally going to be it for you. So that must be so exciting.
Yeah, because it's like, I had my own bucket list. Music was therapy. It helped me with my own life to be able to mature and basically get rid of some demons that I was dealing with myself. So you never know what somebody's dealing with. So with that, with me being able to do this album the way that I wanted to do it, and be so patient and wait, I've never taken a year to do a project ever. So I started in March, went in September, you know. So it's like, I feel good about it, and now I've learned, like, wow, sometimes when you wait, things are better, because I'll release a project, damn, I should have did this. This time I stepped away from it, did something else, came back and said no, because 2 of the tracks that's on here, like Gatekeepers and Moneybag Yo, I cut them from the album, because I felt like it didn't signify what I wanted the album to be. Because like I said, it feels like a soundtrack. It sounds like a soundtrack.
And when you said the soundtrack instead of vinyl, I was going to say, like, that probably fits pretty good with your style of, like, visual. Like, you can
and it's like, you go on the highway and just let it rock. That's why I like, you know, I hear Raw's album or hear Wick album. You play it and you just let it rock, and you listen to it on the highway, and it's like, and I listen to a lot of music, like when Macway and them come out with music, I clean my yard and listen to it. So with me cleaning, I can't skip. So it forces you to actually listen. Because a lot of times we hear beats first before we actually listen to lyrics. And I've been guilty of that as well. So I play my peers' music when I'm doing stuff that I can't skip it. I'll leave my phone and just listen. Damn, playback value is important to me. So I want somebody to be like, oh shit, what did he say? And quotables are important. You get what I'm saying? So, and I have no problem. Like, my favorite songs right now from my peers, like Saint, is Lord Knows. And I felt like when I heard it, I felt like he was saying that it was a conversation that only God knows. Max got a song called Palm Trees Freestyle. And it's just, the mood feels like a cleaning mood. It just feels like breezy. You know, and Quality's got one called Life, and it was like a conversation that he was having with his girl about trying to do music, but trying to do home life, and it's all relatable music. That's what I love about it, relatable music. And there's nothing wrong with, you know, trap music, you know, bitches this and that, but it's like sometimes you need that music that's like, damn, that's crazy. So when Drake got exposed by his kid, it was like, oh damn, he's hiding the kid. But it's like, damn, listen to what he's saying in the song. He said that he used to chastise his parents about how they didn't make it work with him, and it's like now he's in a situation. It's like, damn, now I understand. So sometimes you don't understand until you're actually in a situation. So maybe I can't relate. And Gucci Mane's is my favorite trap artist. I loved him when people were, oh, Jeezy this, and now everybody's on Gucci Mane. So that's what I mean about being loyal and being comfortable in yourself. I may not understand trap life because I didn't sell bricks like Gucci Mane, but listening to him makes you feel like, oh, look at him change his whole life. Family man now. Now we have something relatable, but he's always been my favorite artist. Sometimes you need to, you know, just move around sometimes.
Real shit. That's
There's some things only the Lord knows. How long will I live? I ain't sure, yo. Shit, when I get to heaven where them doors close, I don't know if I make it through them pearly gates. So I always keep the faith, cause the things only the Lord knows. Like all the bullshit I've already been through, that cut me deep without again to. But I've been blessed to alleviate all of that damn weight off my mental. Don't even need a pen or pencil, cause it's been meant to be. Since the Lord ever sends from me, the angels gonna know my name when he mentions me. I'm the one up in the booth that speaks nothing but the truth, cause I know it'll be the only thing that'll set us free. Shit, most these fucking rappers out here spit lies.